Is this the first settlement in Iceland? Let's find out.
We're on day 3 of our ring road tour of Iceland. This is Stodvarfjorur, or the way Google pronounces it.
Stodvarfjorur.
It's a small village home to 184 people, with a few more in the summer. It's likely the oldest settlement in Iceland. Stick with this video and we'll show you what was found here. Let's drive through a little bit and you can see the place. The village has evolved from an early Viking era summer camp established in approximately 800 AD. It's unknown who established the summer camp, but according to the archaeologist, Dr. forgive the pronunciation, Bjorn Irnenson,
The camp was used as a base to fish and hunt seal and walrus for important trade goods. The fur, leather, tusks, and blubber would be hauled back to European cities. The blubber would be rendered out to make oil for lamps and waterproofing. Later in the settlement period, a farm was settled on top of the summer camp, and a newer longhouse of about 43 meters long was built. These archaeological sites are at the end of the fjord, about 5 kilometers from the town. This village is an excellent spot for a coffee break, and this is the coffee spot. So let's take a drive, then I'll talk about the history.
About 150 years ago, a fishing village developed here. As of today, it's largely a retirement community with a summer camp. The settlement period of Iceland begins in the year 874, and in the next 50 years the land is thought to have been completely claimed. The population was a mix of Norse and Celtic, the women being heavily Celtic. At the end of the settlement period, the population of the whole island might have been about 20,000, but estimates vary wildly.
It is a very pretty setting for the village, but we were there in mid-July. This was formerly the church, built in about 1925. Nowadays it seems to be a restaurant, but it wasn't open. The fishing industry has ended here because of the large processing plant in Dalvik and a variety of different regulations. It is likely that the people we call Vikings arrived at this spot earlier than 800, the time of the first longhouse. They wouldn't have been arriving then immediately started the longhouse. Earlier habitation sites have just not been found. We know that the Shetland Islands were settled thousands of years ago. It is an open ocean crossing, but the boats were sound. The current flows from the Shetlands to Iceland, and compared to today, the people then were incredibly brave. Also, with the mountains and clouds, you can see the island from a fair distance. A new discovery of walrus tusks would have been kept secret because of its value. There is no old town here, no medieval structures, and everything is pretty modern. The street names here are unpronounceable. The alphabet in Iceland has letters that the English alphabet does not have, and Icelandic is tangential to English. In Icelandic, the word for butter is smeared, but in American English, we smear the butter on the bread. This village is an excellent place to get out of your car in the middle of your ring road tour and take a nice walk in the sunshine, depending on weather. On your walk, you may see people from all over the world. We did. The village is about 5 kilometers from the archaeological site, and that site was one of the seeds from which Iceland grew. Imagine how this looked to the first people that saw it. Vacant land, good pastures, no predators, and no parasitic nobility. We shouldn't underestimate how attractive this would have seemed to the settlers. DNA evidence suggests that many of the people that arrived in the settlement period, especially the females, were from England, Ireland, and Scotland. They were leaving behind the Anglo-Saxon culture with its remnants of Roman culture and roads, a well-developed agricultural base with a large variety of field and garden crops available, They were also leaving behind Christianity. On the trip to Iceland, they moved toward the edge of the known world and back into the rural existence of the Viking Iron Age.
When the farm was settled, possibly 68 ships with farm animals, people, tools for farming and fishing, weapons, food for immediate needs, glided down this fjord. The women on board might have been purchased, captured, or possibly considered war brides. The Viking leader who led, Thorsater, which could mean he had godlike hair, or more likely, it meant hand of God. He would have had the pagan belief that persisted for about 200 years.
The Viking camp is at the very end of the fjord where the stream flows in. Vikings had this summer camp for hunting and fishing, and it developed into a farm which still exists. This location provided farmland, fresh water,
Relative safety and independence.
and a reasonably safe place to put the ships and small boats. 1,000 years would pass before Iceland would have anything that you could call a system of roads. The farm would produce some trade goods, largely wool, yarn, dried fish, and blubber. This was also a place that was easy to describe for people that may wish to come and trade when the occasional supply ship came in. This farm and other farms like it would become the basis of the subsistence farming of Iceland for the next 300 or 400 years. Please feel free to leave a comment. If you liked this video and found it informative, please subscribe and press the like button.